Hi, I'm Mark Buckingham, artist of Miracle Man, Fables, Death, and many other books over the years, and you're listening to 11 O'Clock Comics.
What is happening? Crazy town.
And
I don't know.
The things we do for our boo.
Really? Isn't it? It's like, what can we do for Jason today?
Oh my.
How can we make Jason's life easier?
Please let us help you so you can
Yes.
get another vacation.
You know we love you. Don't start.
For you.
For you. Hey, everybody. It's 11 O'Clock Comics, episode 935. And I am Vince B.
You are Vince B. I am David A. Price.
Indeed you are, and I am Weapon Brown.
Ooh, nice. You're not Weapon Brown. You're Jason. Wooed everybody together again. We have a special something planned for you. But before we do that, we want to let you know who made this thing possible. And that is CheapGraphicNovels.com. CheapGraphicNovels.com has all the omniboo, the trade paperbacks, the OGNs, the collected editions, the manga, all that stuff at a fraction of what that list price printed on the back reads. It's crazy. And if you're a first-time customer, remember this, because I'm doing you a solid. We're all doing you a solid here. Make an order, email, confirmation comes in, respond to the email confirmation saying 11 O'Clock Comics sent me. Do it more elegantly than that, but you get the gist. And you will be received, you will receive an email by Max, from Max, saying, hey, you know what? Next time, shipping's on me. I fucked that up. But that's okay. CheapGraphicNovels.com. They're the best. Just go there. Buy more book. Stretch that comic buying dollar. Yeah. I'm drinking.
Yeah?
This is called Arrogant Bastard Ale. Did you ever have it?
I have, actually.
It's very good. And it has a devil on the can, which, in my wheelhouse. Oh, did you hear that? Nice.
You're
Yeah, what are you drinking, Jason?
I am drinking Pamplemousse Seltzer.
Pampered
Listen, I'm
Moose.
heading in. Holy crap! I'm heading to Napa in 3 days, my dude.
Nice.
Gonna be getting wine tastings at the Yin Yang.
Sounds like
Well,
fun.
you should probably try through the mouth.
Both. I'm gonna do it both ways.
High
Okay, nice. Get
colonic.
those enemas going. Love it.
4-input guy myself.
Don't they usually do that with coffee? Coffee
Yes,
enema?
they do.
Yeah, I'm going to pass
This
on
town
that.
needs enema.
Oh, boy. This cat loves beer.
Well, it's your cat, of course. it loves
She's
beer.
drinking
Of course
my
it
beer.
is.
Will you stop? That's for me, baby. Get going.
Anymore.
What are you drinking, Dap?
Since it is the only wine I currently have in the house at the moment, I am enjoying my Venus and Furs.
Ah, nice. There you go. Well, Jason came up with something. He said,
I have a few things.
Yeah, but this is neat because it's a choose your own adventure type.
Oh,
But it's also a top 5 list. You all
Yes.
love the top 5 lists.
love the top.
So we basically couldn't decide what top 5 theme we wanted to go with. So we're going with all of them. And you could just pick which one you want to expound upon. And the other 2 hosts are not obligated to do so as well. So if I pick one and the guys aren't feeling it, they could just pick another one and do a top 5 on that. I think that's fun. It's random. It's chaotic. It's life. It's life. Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. It's a good thing. It's a good thing.
All right. Am I starting off the honors?
Yeah. Why not?
Okay, well, based on and again, like you said, I provided some ideas, but y'all are free to get crazy and veer in other directions. But I thought it would be interesting because we're always getting, like, we've got full disclosure. Some of you already know this if you're on the Slack. I asked for some ideas, and many of you gave ideas. Now, some we've covered before, and maybe the people that suggested, because we've been around a long time, didn't realize that. Others are great, but it's like hard to assimilate them. Like, for example, we often get, anytime we put a request for this kind of thing, we often get someone saying some variation of like funniest moments of the show or most hilarious moments of cons. And it's weird. Like, I think we could probably come up with a list, but it's hard because to me, those things are harder to recall as like specific, right? Like it's just because those things are like, we have fun and cons are fun too, and we laugh a lot. So those things kind of seem hard on the spot to like put into kind of a numeric order. But along those lines, so I'm trying to ameliorate the people that always ask for those kinds of things. I have a list of the 5 most important moments in my comics reading history. Like, as I look back, like the tentpole moments that I can say for sure turned me into whatever crazy freak I am now that's sitting here talking about comics with you guys. You ready for them?
I certainly am.
All right, I'm going to go in chronological order. All right. The first one I've talked about many times, the origin story, when I was at the mall and we were at the food court and there was a comic shop at the food court, and I wandered in and I saw in glistening blue, a bright light gleaming at me, one of the volumes of the official handbook of the Marvel Universe Deluxe Edition. I had read comics off the stands at the bookstore and 7-Eleven and the like for years, like any kid at that age, but there was sporadic Catch-a-Sketch Ken. That was when I realized that these universes, well, in particular the Marvel Universe, was this collected universe with tons of history that mattered. And as you all know, I bought that book, begged my mom to let me buy the books. It was expensive trade paperback, read it, desperately asked to return to the mall to see if the next volume would be back, and the rest is history. So that's moment number 1. Moment number 2, I was child of divorced parents, as you guys know, and often was the case that the father would have you like one day a week, and then on the weekends, every other weekend. That was my deal. And usually when my dad would pick me up for our weekend, he would either take me to like the toy store or something. I was spoiled, no doubt. And I said I'd love to be able to go, and we were going to the mall where the toy store was, and a new store was open, and it was called Comic Relief, and it was an LCS right near our house. And I walked into that instead of the toy store and started what we now call a pull list, but at the time I didn't know what it was called, but I started if you come in here every couple of weeks, we will have the books that you want for you. And at the time it was just, I want the Marvel books. So that set in motion, and that was my LCS for, well, geez, I mean, up until I was pretty much going to college. So a good 6 years or so.
Nice.
Yeah, that's number 2. Number 3, I again talked about this. The only point in my life since I discovered comics that I didn't read or buy comics was college. I was broke, didn't have the room, didn't have the money, was busy doing other things. I probably had no real expectation or thought that I would get back into comics. You know, like many people, I could have just moved on and would have been a passing fancy of my childhood. But Beth and I were walking around Hoboken, New Jersey, in 1996, a week after I graduated college. I just moved into an apartment in Hoboken. We were walking around town on the weekend trying to get the lay of the land, and stumbled upon a LCS 2 blocks from my apartment. The nostalgia hit me. I said, hey, let's go in here for a second. Beth looked at me like, oh, yeah? Went in there. Long story short, Age of Apocalypse was happening at the time. The man behind the counter got me all hyped up for it. I left with a stack of Age of Apocalypse books and I never have stopped collecting again. That's number 3. Number 4, we're living in Old Bridge, New Jersey, which is where we live when we started this podcast. I was painting Jackson's nursery because Beth was pregnant with Jackson. And I had just gotten an iPod, not an iPhone, people, an iPod, and something called podcasts started to exist. I was trying to figure out something to listen to while I painted, and I discovered a podcast that we all know lovingly as Comic Geek Speak, and started listening to that and was mesmerized at how they discussed comics of all walks of life, and that piqued my interest to actually start, because I was already collecting comics again for a decent amount by then, but to break out from collecting Marvel Comics for the first time, and started here and there, trying a little bit, little Vertigo, little DC, and of course the rest is history. And the fifth, and I'm not blowing smoke up your asses just because you're here with me and I love you, but the fifth, without question, and arguably the most important that shaped me, is when Vince called me and said, "Hey, I want you to come and do this podcast with me and a couple other guys." And I at first was like, bro, I don't got time for that. It sounds like nonsense. And you sold me on it. And it took 4 episodes for you to finally show up. But once I showed up, the rest, as they say, is history. So those are the cornerstone moments of my comic fandom.
Nice. I've gone into all this at length on the show, so I'm not going to go into. I'm just going to skip this one. Because it's comics book, Planet of the Apes, all that stuff, Marvel, FF48. So I'm just going to pass. I'm not going to get into this one.
Oh.
I have a couple. There's everybody has heard me talk about Gail and my aunt who, but it's kind of a 1-2 punch because yes, while Gail did give me a bag of comics that her partner's mother got at a flea market, and her law partner, and that opened the floodgates for comic books. My father is the one who pretty much introduced me to the medium, because every day he'd come home with the newspaper and give me the comic section, and that just basically kickstarted my love for just the 2-dimensional art form, and then comics grew from there. Other notable moments were finding, after we moved from Arizona, from Massachusetts back to New York, and I was starting at middle school, first time at this school, ended up becoming friends with Tom and Rob, and they were not secretly, but we found out through conversations that we were all comic book fans. So actually having friends in school that we were all fans of mostly Marvel at the time, but and then we would also hop on our bikes and hit the comic shop. And then once I started working, when I was too young to work, I worked at the Fountainhead in New Rochelle. It's a catering joint, weddings, graduations, bar mitzvahs, things like that. There was a waiter there who actually had a subscription to Westfield Comics, and nice. He allowed me to. He let me basically piggyback onto his orders, so that's how I ended up getting Dark Knight Returns and things like that. So I was able to get some issues here and there without having to worry about getting to a comic shop. And that's pretty much it as far as non-reading moments in comics. The only other one I could think of was Morris, who owned a comic shop in White Plains. When he passed away, his wife had a little memorial service, and Irene had some of their artist friends come for an evening. Store was closed just for some of the more the regulars who were able to attend, and folks like Joseph Michael Linsner, Tex, Ray Lago. There were a few artists that were there and just kind of celebrating this man's life. And it was one of the first moments, I think, beyond a convention where I was around professionals that were actually, I was able to see them as, well, I mean, just as humans, just being normal people who experience the same things that we do. Because before then, they're just credits on a page, and you don't necessarily know who the people are who are making your books. But it was a little surreal to be in an environment like that, because it was almost like I don't belong here. Like I'm not a comic professional. I'm not somebody important that should really be around these people. We're all here for a specific reason, as we all share that. But it was just it was a moment where did feel a little out of place, but it was still just neat to see people come together for an event like this, and to just be around people who I only know because of that they draw or paint pretty pictures. Yeah, I mean it's wild when I saw the list of items that you posted, Jason, that some of the memories that just came flooding back almost instantly.
Nice. Love it.
Yeah. Y'all can't see the list that Jason cobbled together where you are, but the last one on the list is the top 5 times Vince sharded at a con. Like, he's a wise guy, in case you didn't know. I'm going to
start us off, Vince, with this since you skipped that one.
Yeah, okay. I am going to start off with the top 5 artists of all time.
Woo!
Yes.
Okay, strong.
Do it.
Because I like to do this from time to time just to see how my tastes have maybe changed. And more or less, they usually don't, at least for the top 3. It's 4 and 5 that are malleable, fluid, right? I'm going to go in descending order. Number 1, the greatest comic artist of all time, never to be challenged, Jack Kirby. Now, there's a universe between 1 and 2. That's how great Jack was. So my number 2 would be Richard Corbin. My number 3 would be Gary Panter. Now, here's where we get into a little bit of the tall grass, the sticky stuff. Who do I go with for 4 and 5? Well, right now, I would say John Severin is number 4.
Mm-hmm.
And Mike Ploog is number 5.
Wow, okay.
Oh.
We've really talked about very little Ploog over the years for him to be in the top 5.
But that's because he's been out of the spotlight for so long.
Yeah.
But Bronze Age, Ploog is everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Literally. And I guess if you go back in the archives and look, search to when we talked about top 5 comic artists, it probably won't be that much different. My list, it's almost always Kirby, Corbin, Panter, and then the other 2, the deck chairs are shuffled a little bit. But for right now, Severin and Ploog.
Yeah, I'm very. That's kind of how I approach it too, because the first 2 pretty much never going to change for me. The third is kind of always there. 4 and 5 can be different depending on what I think about or what maybe catches my eye as I glance around my room or just whatever speaks to me at any given moment. Do you have one for this, Jason?
Yeah, I do, and it's interesting because since I'm the one that made the list, I should have clarity as to how I approached it. But I realized that there's 2 ways to approach something like that, right? There's the my 5 favorite great artists of all time, right? Like the 5 that mean the most to me, and then an objective, okay, if I was hired by some consulting firm to tell them who I think the 5 objective greatest comic artists are of all time.
Yeah.
So I feel like we've probably had more conversations about our favorites than we have an objective conversation, although we've had a Rushmore conversation too. So I just try to kind of mash them together, meaning that I think you can make a case for someone like a Will Eisner or a Ditko, but I don't think they mean enough to me personally to be in my top 5, but I would never argue if someone put them in their top 5. You know what I mean? So for Kirby's number 1 for sure, because I think he hits both. He's incredible, obviously the progenitor of so much. So he's number 1 for me. Number 2, again, this is kind of where we're mixing it. John Byrne, because I was a Marvel kid for 20 plus. Plus years of my comics reading was Marvel, and he was the guy to me. He was the guy. Number 3 is Mobius. I just think, visually, I don't know that I've ever been more in love with a comic storyteller, and I think he's thoroughly because we didn't really get until our adult years an ability to read a lot of his career work until it was ported over or available on the internet or whatever. So he's 3. 4, again, you guys are not going to be surprised by this, and again, probably a pick that wouldn't be on most people's list. John Buscema, again, same kind of rules apply for Byrne. To me, he's the quintessential superhero artist, and it's ironic because he hated drawing superheroes, but when I think of superhero artists, I think of him. And And then my fifth is always, that's certainly more wishy-washy, but I think I'm going to go with Darwin Cook right now. That style, the Cook style is certainly presently like one of, if not my favorite style, like the people that are homage to him, that super clean, like single line style. And I just think he probably is the best that ever did it that way. So I'm going to put him at 5. And there were a few that were battling intensely as I was thinking about that list for my 5th. But for tonight, he's on the record as Darwin Cook.
Yeah, our number 5 is the same.
Nice.
It's. I mean, and it probably had to been at the beginning of the year when we had just finished reading Batman Year One. I probably would have put Mazzucchelli on here.
Mm-hmm.
And both don't necessarily have a massively large catalog. And what we love by each of them, we absolutely adore, and they do it well. But it's not like they've had 40 years compared to someone like Kirby, or that you could just throw a rock and hit something that Kirby has done. You can't really say that about Mazzucchelli or Cook. But number 4 today is, and I love his use of anatomy, and it's just one of those things where he's another one where, yeah, he spent a good chunk of time for DC drawing Batman, and before that Captain Marvel, and he did some work for the Phantom. But I love Don Newton's line. He's never done enough.
Respect.
And he left us way too early.
Yeah.
But I cannot look away from his work. And I mean his Boss Thorne on that Batman stuff, or even his matches Malone, whether it's just I know Miller gave us the grim and gritty Batman, but there's just the way my man works with the shadows and manipulates lights. I can never get enough. I mean, I buy a lot of these. I dig for the old dollar World's Finest books because even though it's Captain Marvel, I'm probably going to get Don Newton art in these issues. And number 3 is pretty much always George Perez. And 1 and 2 is Gil Kane for number 1 and Matt Wagner for number 2.
Nice. Love
there
it.
You go. Yeah.
Respect everybody's list. Yeah.
Well, you respect most of the names on my list.
What?
Yeah, Corbin. You don't like Corbin.
Oh my God! You gotta stop with this nonsense. It's become a shtick.
You hate him. I don't know why.
Hey, Matt, I know Max listens real time. Max, can you just put the 4 volumes of Den on my next order? Can you do that?
No, because you're buying them because I'm guilting you into buying them.
No, and then buy them and read them. I'm not going to do a Terry the Pirates and stack up $1,000 worth of book for not read them. I'm gonna read them.
Whatever. All right, pick another one.
What's that pick? It's Snap's turn.
Oh man. Yeah. Okay, yeah, the top 5 creators you most want us to interview, but haven't yet, and obviously
love it
to be alive. Yeah, I didn't. I really didn't finish my list only because I know I've appreciated everybody we've talked to over the years, and we've had plenty of repeats as well. But those that we've tried, and I mean, obviously there's Priest, and whether that's going to ever happen, I doubt it. But still, it's there. Frank Miller, Scott McCloud, and so that's 3. Definitely. Well, I think we could have some fun with Steve Rude. Oh,
for real? Yeah.
Yeah.
Even though I think he's falling behind on this second Nexus thing that he's got going on. But whatever.
Yeah. And yeah, and probably, you know what? I'll way out of left field here. Mignola.
Wow. Yeah, that's a good one. I'm sure there'd be a lot to talk about with Mike. You want me to go next? I think sure. I have a couple. Most notably Frank Miller. love to talk to Frank.
Of course.
Yep.
I think it would be batshit crazy. But as far as other living comic creators, I don't know. Yeah, I'd love to talk to Steve Rude and Mike Barron concurrently, just to see what's
Barron
up.
would be easy to get. I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure Barron is champing at the bit to talk to anybody.
Yeah. How about Matt Groening? I'd love to talk to Matt Groening
Yeah,
because then I could
Oh, maybe
badger.
you could ask him.
I could badger the fuck out of him and make it very uncomfortable.
go.
Yeah, and he'd probably say I can't talk about that.
Right, you should probably tell you to talk to P-Boy.
Yeah, talk to Andrew. Andrew knows everything. I think it would be cool to talk to Byrne.
Oh, yeah.
And even if he was a surly motherfucker, he has his accomplishments speak for themselves.
Sure. Yeah. Yes.
And there's so many things about which you could talk. Do you want to focus solely on Superman and that time, or the Fantastic Four stuff, or Alpha Flight? Like, you could talk to Byrne forever and how he screwed up his style by inking himself. Like, I think it would be a lot of fun.
You ever think about lettering smaller, John?
Yeah.
Smaller font, bro.
John, what's with the flat chests? I don't get it.
Look like a baby.
I mean, for me, this one I have like a list of I have a running list of. Like,
Oh, for sure. Oh, yeah.
Oh, I got one more before we move on.
Please, yeah.
Brubaker Phillips.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
No
Yeah.
doubt.
So and literally some I have them ranked as like what I think are attainable versus unattainable, but there but you never know. But for this, since it's a top 5 list, I included the unattainables, like ones I think we really have no chance of ever happening, but I'd love to if we could. So number 5 is Kirkman. I think way earlier in our show we could have actually had him on pretty easily. But I think now it's probably an impossibility, despite us having pretty good relationship with Skybound. He hasn't done press in so long, and I feel like when he does it, it's like Barbara Walters, like man of the year shit now. So probably not going to happen. But I would love to have it happen. Garth Ennis, I just think he'd be a hoot. We all love his work. We love almost like the entirety of his catalog. Between us all, we adore it all, and I just think he's a real character. That'd be a lot of fun. I think we'd have a blast with him. Grant Morrison, we don't talk about Grant much anymore, but I think, I still think he would be in my running for my second favorite comic writer of all time, at least in terms of body of work. And he's certainly fascinating. I think it would depend on what kind of mood he's in, but I think he would make a very interesting chat. Number 2 is Tilly Walden. Again, I don't know if she's reasonable or not. I have no idea, but I think, it would be really awesome to speak with her because A, I don't ever hear her do interviews, and B, I think she is at least for me, the voice of her generation at this point. And number 1, of course, I think no surprise would be Alan Moore. Again, that's almost certainly never going to happen, but he has done podcasts before. He did what was the name of that Indie Spinner Rack, right? He did Indie Spinner Rack back in the day. So it's not impossible, but very, very unlikely. But man, oh man, would I love to make it happen.
I just considered that an impossibility, but I would,
I
agree. I would kill to talk to Alan Moore.
Absolutely.
And the other two, Mark Miller and Brian K. Vaughan are the other two. I actually think we could make Mark Miller happen, but because he does like to do podcasts. And Brian K. Vaughan, obviously we have some mild.
Oh yeah, I mean you guys are.
Yeah,
he's meeting you out at Napa, or are you flying him out?
Companions, but
if we measure the distance to how far Jason's tongue was down his throat, I think we have a good chance.
We embraced her. If I have photo evidence of us embracing
legs wrapped around legs.
Yep. But it's a good list. Yeah. Do you want me to go now, or do you want to?
Just love for us to be able to talk to. I would love to. It's just. And there's a lot of artists, too, that I think we'd all love to talk to, and just artists, a lot of them just don't want to talk to, do podcasts, but it'd be fascinating to hear their perspectives on their careers. So,
yes.
Anywho.
So, do I pick now, or what are we doing?
What about?
Okay. Top 5 long runs.
Yes.
100 issues or more, or 50 issues or more if you want to take the easy way out.
That's right.
So,
and the reason throughout 100 and Dap was like, can we do 50?
Well, okay. Because
he didn't
Byrne's
say it
Fantastic
like that.
Four run didn't last 100 issues.
No. That's why it's so hard.
Right. So,
Makes it hard. But
right. So if you spring this on somebody 36 hours before we're doing it, yeah.
Oh,
I'm not
there
gonna
we
be
go.
Jesus. So go ahead. Tell me your guys, so this way I can say, yeah, mine too.
All right. I'm going to go in descending order.
Wait, 100 or 50?
I'm doing 100.
He's doing 100.
Obviously, number one has to be the Lee Kirby Fantastic Four.
Sure.
Everything else pales in comparison, I think, as far as superhero comics go. Number two, Saga of the Swamp Thing. That's the series that Alan Moore saved. And then later on, you had Rick Veitch and a number of uber talented.
Now he started with what, 18?
Yeah, 18, 19, around there. Yeah. Number three, I would go. Wow. See, this is where it gets hard. 100 issues. Cerebus, number three.
I was going to say after Cerebus on there.
Yeah.
Yes. Cerebus. And number four, Savage Dragon. Yes, I do rank Cerebus higher than Savage Dragon. Even though Sim shit the bed at the ending. I think what he managed to accomplish with that book was monumental, not only at the time, but now. One creator, give or take, Gerhard on the backgrounds, but one creator doing 300 issues is no small feat. But they're 300 really good issues. And a lot of food for thought in that series as well. Number five would be... Did the Claremont burn thing? That didn't last 100 issues.
Well, Claremont
it really lasts 2 years, but yeah, I mean, but Claremont,
Okay.
you just say the Claremont stuff.
Yeah, I don't know if I want to say that. Wow, I don't think Gold Digger belongs in this list. I love it, but it doesn't come close.
I got ones on my list that I think you would choose for your fifth, maybe.
What's that?
Fables.
Oh, damn, Fables. Shit, I forgot about it. Yeah, I'm going to rejigger my
All right.
So I would put Fables above Cerebus.
Right on.
Okay.
And then Cerebus and then Savage Dragon.
Okay.
There you go.
So I had a list inclusive of 50 up, and I have a list inclusive of 100 up. So in honor of Vince leading us, starting it off, I'll stick with 100. I have Claremont X-Men as number one. It is formative to my enjoyment of comics.
Sure.
I have...
That's so funny. Sure.
I have Kirby Lee FF.
Yeah, it is.
I have Kirby Lee FF number two.
Oh,
It's
seriously?
the primordial soup that makes it all go around.
Wait, what,
You sure you don't want to switch those?
what was number two?
Kirby Lee FF.
Kirby Lee FF. Yeah.
Okay.
I think they should be switched, but whatever.
I think you can chill. No, because I was reading Claremont I was reading Claremont as it was happening. I went back and read the Kirby. You know what I mean? Like, so anyway.
So you're saying that I was reading it as it was happening means
Well, but look how old you are.
I'm busted.
That's recency bias right there.
Anyway, number three is Fables.
Yes.
I think it is my favorite modern comic run, and this recent arc just kind of like reminded me of that.
Cosign.
Hype Beast and all that in. Number four is 100 Bullets. I adore that series, as you guys know full well. And number five, and again, this is I feel like it was in the zeitgeist, and then it kind of fell out of the zeitgeist, but I certainly loved every minute of it, and I got to give it its propers, and that is Walking Dead.
Yep. That's on my list. Yeah. That's actually my number two.
So
Wow.
there you go.
What's
a great
your
list.
list, App?
Mine's a mix of hundreds and 50s. But and the reason why I had asked for less than 100, the primary reason was for the Kamiko Grendel series.
Got it.
I get it. So we bend the rules to fit. It's fine.
You don't have to.
You did.
Your 100. No. You picked your 100. I asked.
Right. And that's a good series to bend the rules for, though. I think so.
and another 50. Slightly 50 plus, barely. Is the Wolfman Perez New Teen Titans.
Nice.
I'm going to cheat and just say the Triangle Era.
Ooh, that's cheating, but that's definitely 100 issues.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a good one.
We'll allow it.
Can I amend my list to?
Just 1A, 1B. And then you have, I've got Walking Dead on my list for the 100 plus, and the Lee Kirby Fantastic Four, because without that we wouldn't have gotten the Byrne stuff, the Wade Wieringo stuff, and so on and so forth.
Now I have a question. This is, I guess, that kind of combine the two. But Vince, if you were allowing 50 plus, would Sandman be on your list?
Of course.
Ooh,
100%.
I would think that would be most people's, not most people, but that would be in almost everyone's top three if we cut it off, if we went from 50 and above.
Yeah, Grendel would be on my list.
Okay, wow.
Definitely, yeah.
Okay.
It would have to be, I would have a separate list for 50 issue runs.
Yeah.
Because then I'd be able to put Airboy on it.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Because I was thinking, for me, if we were to 50, like Sandman for sure would be in the hunt. I think it would knock off Walking Dead for me.
Was that Astro City?
No. Well, I love Astro City. It would probably just miss the cut. I mean, Saga and Sandman would be above it, and I don't think I'd knock the other ones ahead. There were 100 off my list for those.
My list of 50 would definitely have Doom Patrol on it.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
What about Transmet? That would be in contention.
Ooh.
Damn.
Yeah,
that would definitely be in the hunt for me. It's tricky.
Yeah, I would kind of be an asshole.
It's like a lot of comics go to 50 plus,
Right. If I said I'm going purely on the love factor here. I love Airboy more than Transmet.
Oh, yeah.
But Transmet, by all accounts, is a better. It's a better book than Airboy. But my heart.
Was the Invisibles more than 50?
No.
It was more than 50.
But
the number.
East and West was 45, so I knew I couldn't count that.
No, there's more than 50 Invisibles if you count the various iterations. Yeah.
Oh, well, I'm saying you got it.
But it's all one story.
So you're saying the Grant Morrison Invisibles is okay, so that would count.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be on my list because I never read the whole thing, so
right. Yeah, same.
So
what the hell is wrong with you?
How many issues?
It's one of those things. It's not like there's no real reason for it. It's not. I've really enjoyed what I did read, but it's not like it's another thing on my list. If someday I'll sit down and finish it, and it'd be great.
What did The Strangers of Paradise is? What, 75? That didn't hit 100, did it?
Oh yeah, no, that would be in the hunt. I don't think it would beat the things I mentioned already, but it would definitely be in the hunt.
Okay.
Oh,
there we go. There's his Corbin.
Oh yeah. Nice.
Surprised you mentioned Spider-Man, Vince, because that's right up your alley.
What is?
Ultimate Spider-Man.
Oh no,
Spider-Man?
It's not. No, it's not.
Kidding.
Yeah.
Crackler Gwen.
Yeah, good stuff. I like everybody's choices. Respect.
I'm glad you liked them. Pull another list. Come on.
Oh, okay. Well, we're just going to barrel through them all, aren't we? All right. Well, let's see. I'm just looking what else we have. Okay. What would you? This one's a little tricky. I don't even know if I have 5 because only a couple came to mind. But top 5 unfinished comic stories that you'd love to see finished.
Wow. What was that book where the Image book, that one issue came out? The video.
United.
No, that's not. The video game guy.
Oh yes, Ready Player One.
No.
But it's
non-player.
Yes.
Non-player, yes. It would be nice if non-player was finished.
Seriously.
You're never going to see that shit.
Didn't he?
And I agree with Dap. Image United would be nice if it was finished. But, because never.
Because it's never going to happen.
Never going to happen. 1963 would be nice if that was finished. Mm-hmm. Even though the Don Simpson Fantagraphics book
that was on my list.
Adds to it, but it doesn't finish it.
Yeah, it's on my list.
Grant Morrison and Jim Lee's Wildcats.
Wow.
Yeah.
All-Star Batman.
What was that, 2 issues?
Yeah. All-Star Batman. That wouldn't be on my list, but I can see it being on.
Yeah.
See All-Star Batman and Robin the Boy Wonder, yeah.
I've got I've Duncan the Wonder Dog.
Oh, snap. Remember that was supposed to be like many of Oh, I had forgotten about that. Yeah, that was.
That's a great book. I really like that. Yeah.
I'm so glad I still have it on the shelf, man. I'm never getting rid of that book. Burns FF. I'd like to see that finished the way it's supposed to.
Oh. Poison Elves.
Oh, wow.
Poison Elves, yeah. That's good, too.
Yeah, so sad. What else do we have? Unfinished runs.
Oh, man. Big Numbers, right?
Oh, for real. Yeah.
Wow.
Good one. That is I think that would be the quintessential unfinished comic series.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Fell.
Yeah.
Fuck yes.
I said it for Dap. Dap's got it.
Yeah.
That's your shit.
Temple Smith makes my heart hurt.
I actually talked
yeah.
Because he was sitting next to Kevin McGuire, and he kind of like jumped into the conversation that we were having.
Of course he did. Yeah, Ben obviously was not the draw for me on that. I mean, what was nice, it was a buck. It was like a handful of pages, and Warren was writing it, so I was there.
Right. No, it was good stuff.
It's dark as fuck, but yeah.
Casanova. Did that finish?
I think that finished, yeah.
I feel like it did.
Fear Agent finished.
Yep.
There's not a
I
whole...
feel like some have like
Hepcats.
Battle Chase we always won, but now that's finished, right? That got finished finally. Mage continued, right? Like that was people used to talk about Mage.
Yep.
We finally got that. So like Miracle Man, we've gotten we got that finally. So it's like I feel like some have been knocked off the list, but yeah. There's more. Honestly, like I said, I think this is one. If we researched it, we could come up with a bunch more. It's just hard to remember offhand, like some of these, because they're out of sight, out of mind.
I think we did a good job off the cuff. Yeah,
for sure.
But definitely, Big Numbers is the number one Grand Poobah of unfinished comic stories.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Boom. There it is.
How about this? Top 5 superhero origins other than Superman.
Yes. Now, I think objectively, like Batman's, because it's been told 1,000 times, it must be important. But like the fact that it's been told 1,000 times makes me hate it. But like, brilliant in that it's like entirely like it is the character. Like the character is his origin, right? Like that is like everything he has been since that day is in service of that moment, right? Like you cannot escape his origin as part of Batman being like. So it has to be on your list somehow. I don't know.
So is this a list of importance or
how I want it to be? It's okay. I want it to be.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm going to go by how the origin resonates with me.
Okay.
I'd have to go number 1, Peter Parker.
I think that would be number 1. If excluding Superman for most people, I think that would be atop of most people's lists.
Yeah. Number 2 would be Fantastic Four. I think cumulative we can lump them all together because they all got their powers at the same time. So number 2 would be Fantastic Four. Number 3, you're gonna laugh, and I don't care, but I've always loved this origin. Number 3 would be Rom.
All right.
You're asked to give up your humanity in order to fight this foe who can assume the guise of anything. That's rough. That's hard. And just encased in a metal box forever, in quotes. We can't use Superman. That sucks. Yeah, it's hard not being able to use Superman. Yeah, I guess I'd put Batman in there, just because it's as far as origin stories goes, it's one of the best. I don't know what else I would put in there. Yeah, fuck it, Man Thing.
Okay.
Yeah,
I like it.
Respect.
Only because that story, as illustrated by Gray Morrow in the pages of Monsters Unleashed, hit me like a friggin' sledgehammer as a kid. Mm-hmm. And I didn't know Captain America Super Soldier Serum. What the frig is that? Because I didn't read Captain America, didn't care about Captain America. But the fact that he injected himself with the serum in order to keep it out of the hands of the bad guys and ended up being transformed to this thing that just picks up on emotion. Like I think that's a great origin story. And he was bamboozled by his hot ass wife. So, don't you remember that panel when Gray Morrow illustrated it with? She had this see-through negligee on.
Yes.
Like, oh my god, that panel! As a kid, I was like, "What is this strange feeling?
Yes.
What is happening?
Turning the stone.
Why are my pantalones becoming tighter?"
Crazy.
Yeah, that's it. Just totally off the cuff.
I like it.
I love Rom's origin. I just got the second omnibus. Did you guys get it?
I did.
Yeah, it just
I
came.
did. I received it in the box.
Nice.
So let's see. I think I have a bunch, but I'm trying to think like which ones really hit.
Johnny Blaze's origin is great too.
That is a good one.
Yeah, you just don't like good stuff. That's all.
I just don't like Johnny Blaze. Yeah, it's just not that kind of good.
You're crazy.
I think it's great because it's timeless, and I've seen it told several times, and it always entertains me. I got to go Captain America.
It's a good one. Yeah, it's a good one.
of the weakling who's just desperate to help fight Nazis, and he gets his chance. Like I think that's fun,
especially if you factor in the Avengers retelling of his origin, where he's encased in ice. That's great. That's like taking a great origin and making it even better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Spider-Man definitely is on there, for sure. Batman is on there, and then the two that I'm most happy with because I think they are the odd ducks, but they did kind of come to mind as I was trying to figure this list out. Galactus, I love the idea of Galactus being the last person from the last universe, and that someday another being will be the last being from this universe and become that. Like that, I love that idea. That's high concept and fun. And then Hellboy, I love his origin story. I think it's great, and I think it's rendered great. I think Mignola crushed it with that. So,
yeah, you're right.
Those are great. I have Spider-Man on mine, and then I went. I like the idea of when done right, retcon origins, like with Guy Gardner, because he was actually supposed to be the one chosen, but Hal was closer, so therefore the ring went to him. But seeing finding out what could have happened, and it also adds another layer to Guy, because he's not just some curt, crass asshole. There's a reason why he's the way he is.
Greatest of the Green Lanterns.
He's close. There's I love the concept of the Grendel and how it possesses or just takes over. Not necessarily a host, but just there's something, because it went from Hunter, and then obviously something happened with Stacy had her issues, and then her daughter grows up to be Christine Spar. Every iteration of Grendel is touched in a certain way, so it's kind of it evolves, so to speak. I really like the idea of Nightwing, because he was a sidekick, greatest sidekick, and then tired of that and needed to move on, and decided to honor his relationship with Superman by taking on that name, and it still fits within the motif of what he was brought up with. So yeah, there's those three, and then Spider-Man, and then Doctor Strange, because he's a prick.
Too. Yeah,
he just, dude is just selfish and entitled and thinks nothing of other people, and now is forced to not use what the tools that brought him to this greatness. And I love that O. Henry type twist. It's just, and he's better for it. He obviously is, and it served him well. So
Strange is-
runner-up.
Strange
oh,
is still a bit of an asshole, though.
Oh, absolutely, no doubt. You can't disrespect him
it's
just
kind of
being
like
some chill dude.
Right. You look at the Peter Parker Spider-Man origin, where Peter makes a choice. He sees that, well, maybe I should take other people's lives into consideration with this thing. Where Strange is just like, I don't really have a choice. Now I have to do this.
Yeah.
Right. So I mean, Strange is a great character, great and a hero, but I think he would have continued down that path had whatever it was decided that he's going to fuck up his car.
Mm-hmm. Vince, I was going to give your boy, he was my runner-up, was Cable.
Cable's a great origin.
Yeah.
It is a really great origin. Yep.
The prodigal son back from the future to help save it. Yeah, it's great.
Yep.
Love John Connor.
World's greatest mutant.
Well, it's soldier horses.
Right.
See, you won't commit.
Loves the hyperbole tonight.
No, it's not. It's not.
He's
How many?
confusing Nathan Summers with Nate Gray.
How many times? Oh God, are you kidding me? How many times have I said Cable is the world's greatest mutant?
No, we've heard you say it.
Many times.
You said it. You said it.
I mean, I know you believe in manifesting
doesn't make
things,
it
but that doesn't make
gospel,
it
but you
true.
said
Right?
it.
Yeah.
Well, the more people listen to me, the more we'll believe.
Oh, there you go.
That's true.
Damn, we did it. We did all my lists.
No, we didn't. We didn't do all your list. There's another one.
Top 5 writers other than Alan Moore of all time.
Yeah.
Oh, snap. Well, yeah. I mean, all right. Well, one of you guys go because I don't have that list handy, but I can come up with it pretty quickly. I think. Hold on.
Oh boy. Jack Kirby.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, in the way you view the world, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I mean, only because...
Do you?
No,
Do you?
Exactly, yes.
No, it's not doing me.
My
It's
question
doing...
is because-
It's ripping off the veil of what you were told to believe and what was true.
Like I'm saying, do you?
Okay,
I understand
okay.
why you're saying it.
Yes. Obviously, the ideas are there, and he knows how to bring them to life. My reading, as great as his visuals are, I feel he needs assistance when it comes time to bring the dialogue. That's it.
Right. So if putting the words in the characters' mouths after the fact means writing the story.
Well, what was okay? So, as much as he did for DC, and he did a lot, new gods, powers, and there's no doubt, and shit he's done is still is felt today. There's no doubt about that. But Kamandi aside, was his DC work better received or better read than his Marvel work?
I can't answer either one of those questions. All that I know is that his DC work fueled the entire Superman line for more than like decades.
Yes, and again though that's Byrne going to the well of what came before him, and rightfully so. I mean, obviously, yes, if the foundation's there, then keep building on it, because he did with Fantastic Four, and then he did it again.
But not even Byrne, with like Ordway and Wheezy, and they all used.
But that's because of what of Byrne's reboot. But yes, I obviously, yeah, what Jack did helped DC for decades later on. There's no doubt about it. Those were his images. Those were his ideas. But how? No.
All right, for the sake of argument, we'll take Kirby off the list, even though he
you don't have to. No,
even though he wrote all those Fantastic Four issues.
Yes, he absolutely did. And I don't want to dismantle your list. And this is a conversation we can have any other time. So I mean, for the sake of this question, top 5, by all means, keep Jack on your list.
All right, Frank Miller.
Yep.
Much as it pains me, I got to go with Grant Morrison.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think he's more enamored with himself than he should be, and that comes through in the stories. His cleverness. Garth Ennis.
Okay.
Steve Gerber.
Beautiful.
Not in any order.
Particular order, yeah.
Maybe I would put Frank on the top, and all the other ones would be shuffleable. But, yeah.
Okay.
Without a Kirby. If you're allowing me the Kirby, then Jack's on the top of the list.
Absolutely get allowed the Kirby.
Okay.
You can have a top 6 for this one.
All right, just take Ennis off.
Okay. See you, Ennis.
Bye.
He just missed the cut for me too. Grant. No particular order here. Grant Morrison, Neil Gaiman, Brian K. Vaughan, Jonathan Hickman, Jeff Lemire.
I was waiting.
Wow. Hot take.
It's really not.
No, it's a good list.
He's been mine, yours, Daps, or the audience's pick for best writer or best writer artist like 8 different years.
No, he's good. I just I wish I could have room for Bill Matlow on my list too.
Yeah, no, I mean, I honestly like Lemire. I could, like, depending on my mood, I could have gone Remender. I could have gone Ennis. Like I don't know that one's set in stone. It'll shape, with subsequent work. But I think the other 4 I'm pretty locked in on, at least at this point in their careers.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely have Frank on mine, Neil Gaiman on mine. I went and did a little bit of a deeper dive, and I went with Jerry Conway.
Can't front on that. Best
Warren
run,
Ellis.
best run of Spider-Man ever.
And not just Spidey, but Justice League. He's done a lot for both of the big two, and a lot of those stories when I was growing up, just his name has seemed to attach. It's same thing with to a certain extent, same thing with Roger Stern or Steve Englehart, but Conway's doing it sticks. Warren Ellis and Garth.
Yeah,
All right.
It's a good one. Awesome.
Love
Wow, that's a lot of top 5s.
it. Yeah, we threw it at him.
That's what I'm saying. Lots of fun.
Got after it.
Hey, everybody, do yourself a service. You want to save money. Saving money means buying more books.
Yep.
So go to cheapgraphicnovels.com where you will save a whole mess of money. Omnibus editions, trade paperbacks, OGNs, manga, all that stuff. Drastically reduced in price. Sorry, it's the beer. And if you would be so kind, check out our Patreon page, patreon.com/11o'clockcomics. We recently released a book of the month on Pluto. And the only way you can hear that is to become a $5 patron. And you also get to hear, $5 patrons, the craziness that occurred at Jason's house the night before.
Oh, zaniness.
Yeah, it was nuts. I'm releasing it, but we were kind of stupid towards the end. But whatever. I mean, it happens. Warts and all, right? In your travels, this is one of my gets from Heroes. We found you're going to be hearing a lot about Heroes. It's that good of a convention. But Dap and I found a vendor that had a bunch of 50-cent boxes, like a ton of 50-cent boxes. And within those boxes, I found the trade paperback collections, not one, but two X-Mutants. Have either of you read X-Mutants?
Way back in the day.
No, I can't say that I have.
David Lawrence was the writer. Ron Lim was the penciler. Yes. Yep. And depending on what issue, Tom Zahn was the inker. And let's see this first volume. Who's the inker on this? Sorry, this does not make for good. Inkers were Mike Witherby and Tom Zahn. X-Mutants was one of those books that I fell in love with back in the day. It was originally published by Eternity. I don't know why I bought the first issue. Probably because during the black and white boom, I bought everything that was released. If it was black and white, I bought it. And X-Mutants was one of those that were trying to capitalize on the success of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, where, if you self-publish a black and white book in the marketplace, chances are good that it would do very well. And I guess X-Mutants did pretty well, because not only did it spawn the X-Mutants series proper, but there were a number of spin-offs. New Humans, there was a book about the biker gang called Wild Knights. Each member of X-Mutants had a one-shot at one time. Like, it was crazy the amount of books they got out of X-Mutants. But I love the book because, Jason, it's a post-apocalyptic thing where humanity, somebody pushes the button and all the other nations follow suit. They don't remember why exactly it happened, but it did. And so in the fallout, humanity mutates into these vile, disturbing creatures. And in walks a scientist who wants to turn back the clock on the genetic mutations and creates his X-Mutants. Get it? EX mutants.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The series was heavily inspired by the Mad Max series, particularly the Road Warrior, because the villain in the first bunch of issues of X-Mutants is a guy named Great Fred, and he looks very much like the Humongous from Road Warrior. But it's a great series. And then there's a spin-off where there's a character introduced very early in X-Mutants who turns out to be the mother of someone in the narrative, and then that series spins off into New Humans. It's crazy, but it's very early Ron Lim. And if you look at the art in X-Mutants, Lim's style didn't really change all that much. He got better, but it was because he started so strong that the eventual work he did at Marvel, well-received work, looked so strong was because he started like really hot out of the gate. His character, his figure drawing was very extended and exaggerated. Like, the women have legs for days in X-Mutants, but it's all fun. And you could scare these things up for, look what I got them for, 50 cents for each trade paperback. You can get the issues for really cheap. So if you're looking for something, a distraction, look up X-Mutants by Eternity, and then you'll have to pick up all the miniseries and spin-offs and stuff. But it's a good well in which to dive. X-Mutants, good stuff. Made possible by heroes. Yeah.
I was the first issue of X-Mutants that I read, then I went back and saw the issues by Lim. Paul Pelletier was the artist, was the penciler on the book.
Yeah, he came on after.
Yeah.
And you can also see the influence of Dave Sim on the independent comics, because within the pages of X-Mutants, there's a pastiche on the Marx Brothers and the Three Stooges. So Dave Sim would do that from time to time. Groucho Marx, of course. Keith and Mick appeared in the pages of Cerebus. And I guess Sim's influence is on display in X-Mutants, because they did the same thing. Like, their characters totally unrelated to the plot. It's just Zeppo and Chico just doing stupid shit for a couple panels, and then it goes away, But yeah, I love this series. I think Lim looks really great, even though he's a little green around the edges, but he gets better at Marvel.
Mm-hmm. Well, speaking of heroes and speaking of things found stupidly cheap, I've read this story countless times. I read the preview when Dark Horse sent it to us, and now I actually have it in my hands without a watermark in the corner. And what's great about Grendel Devil by the Deed Masters edition is that aside from the original story that was the backup in the last half of the first Mage series, Matt completely redoes the story, still with the same type of Art Deco motif, with it's mostly just still images with a whole bunch of text boxes, because that's what Christine Spar is writing. It's redrawn, and it goes deeper, and it also includes the Behold the Devil story that the final Hunter Rose story that Matt did a few years ago. So in incorporating that into the original, or expanding the Devil by the Deed story, gives you a nice chunky tale that is beautifully illustrated. It of course doesn't look like it did in the original story with the Rich Rankin inks and the airbrush color. This is of course colored by his son Brennan. Still mostly with the with the black and white with the gray tones and the spots of red here and there. But it's still just it's basically the complete Hunter Rose story without the need of reading a sequential miniseries. And everything you need is right here. This was absolutely one of the steals of the weekend.
$5, right?
$2.
Oh my God!
$2
Well,
for this hardcover. It's stupid. This was $2. I rescued this from a back issue bin. It would be similar to like a nick and dent. There's barely noticeable damage on the top of the spine, which is fine considering if you get books from Amazon, it's basically the same thing sometimes.
But, they don't care.
Exactly.
Yeah,
they've gone away with the puffed bags. They've gone away with any sort of protection these days. But yeah, it's a great story. It's going on the shelf next to everything else I have. But yeah, I held off on pulling the trigger because I think retail is like $30. I don't have the limited edition slipcase version yet. This unless I can find that next year Heroes for maybe $6. But no, this is if you haven't, I don't. It bums me out a little bit because Dark Horse is reprinting the Grendel Omnibus in the larger format now. It's still, I think, missed the cutoff to include this story. So I think I don't know if the original Devil by the Deed is in the first omnibus. I know that Behold the Devil miniseries is. It's basically the same thing. But if you've never read the original Devil by the Deed story, whether it's the oversized graphic novel that I also scored at Heroes, then by all means get the Masters Edition because Matt and Brennan put their heart on this and it's a great story. It's been told many times, but this is a really, really sweet version of that story. So in your travels, find yourself Devil by the Deed Masters Edition by Matt Wagner, colors by Brennan.
We got a lot of good stuff at Heroes.
We got a ton of good stuff on Heroes. It's going to take forever to get through it all.
I've been going through
that's a great problem.
The Marvel Age issues we got.
Uh-huh.
The layout was not good post 100.
That's why,
they didn't really care. They were just throwing,
They know.
Yeah, writing was on the wall.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
In your travels, check out a book by our Booze from Boom Studios, written by Mr. Tony Felice, art by Mr. Dave Wachter, who fortunately had to cancel his appearance at said Heroes Con. Uncanny Valley. Uncanny Valley number 3 hit the stands this past Wednesday. And it's fun, man. All I got to say is Kung Fu Buggy. I mean, I now have a new commission subject to get. It's this book, whatever you thought of the first issue and wonder where it was going to go, 2 and 3 gave me the vibe of like those 80s action films like that had the kids, like the one with Dabney Coleman, in the video game. You know what I mean? Like that kind of thing. Like it has that kind of vibe. Like young kid who's special but doesn't quite know it yet, being thrust into this strange world, and in this case, that world is a world of cartoons that are real, at least in terms of like they exist in our world. It's just a lot of fun, man. It's so creative, and Wachter's just doing yeoman's work, bringing these cartoons into a realistic, visage that he's drawing, having to mix the two. So it's just fun stuff.
Nice.
Cosign. Yep.
Yep.
I'm glad you didn't say Goonies.
I mean, yeah, no, I mean, Goonies. The reason it didn't evoke Goonies is because that's like a group adventure.
Right.
This is just a kid on the run type of a thing.
Gotcha. Hey, everybody, we hope you loved this and that you come back next time because we'll have more of the same for you because we love you so much. In the meantime, get yourself to a comic shop, buy some books, read them, talk about them online, share them with people who don't read comics, spread the love, and then come back here and we'll be talking about more comics.
For you.
And do your thing and say goodnight. I have nothing queued up. Nothing.
Oof.
I know.
Oof.
Emotional damage. David.
Damage. Wait, hold on. Let's be timely. Haktua.
Wow.
Good night.
Where do I
Sit on
start?
that thing.
Where do I stop? That's dirty.
Dude, it's literally taken over the internet. One out of every 2 internet posts in the last 48 hours have been Haktua.
I know, but it's like I don't mind them when they're not dirty. When they're dirty, it kind of bothers me.
That's because you have daughters.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah.
The memes about her father are just like are the funniest. Like said Ben Affleck.
We're out of here. We love you people. Tell them you love them so much.
So much.
So much.
That's it for that one.